Spookyou's frightening nights of Halloween.
Hello, my dear Franken friends, and welcome to Spookyou, your one-stop shop for all things ghastly and ghoulish. I'm your host, Barnabas Vixen, and it's night 3 of our Frightening Nights of Halloween series. The only place you'll find intergalactic space slugs for bargain bin prices. Buy 2, get 3 free. They're sure to tickle your Wait a minute. I got the scripts mixed up again. Hold on. Barnabas Flakes, hear us and out... Wait. This is wrong too. Screw it, I'm winging it. We've got another lineup of narrators and authors for you tonight. Hailing from the dark depths of the underworld, weighing in at a whopping 237 gigabytes worth of content, I give you Chronopasta! Followed by the master of mayhem and a great friend of the channel, the HeroAskew. Tonight's featured authors are robinlegai, sorry if I butchered that, Lady Spookaria... Wait. I thought she was a narrator, right? You know, the demon from down under? No? Different lady? Oh well. And finally, ammarbadhrul, who happens to be a new subscriber to the channel. Welcome, Ammar, and thank you for pledging your soul to the cause. Your donation has been noted. Anyways, here's The Man in the Tunnel, written by robinlegai and narrated by Chronopasta. You know what to do.
I don't know what made me go down there. I don't know what made me stay. I don't know why I'm still alive. And as dumb as it may sound, I'm not one for telling stories. So here it goes. My name is Marcus. Now, I'm not going to give up my last name for obvious reasons, and I don't think you care either. All I need to know is Marcus. About 3 months ago, I saw an ad for a lost dog, a white chihuahua with a pink bell around its collar. The dog was named Simon, and at first I thought Simon was a bad name for a female dog, but I didn't care. These people were either rich or desperate because they had $2,000 prize for their return of their ugly little bastard. They wanted her by the 15th of May. It was barely the 4th, so there was lots of time to spend. I called my best friend Jack to help me find a little pupper. He obliged to come assist me. He would only be late because he was going to the movies with his girlfriend. They said he was last seen in the park, just east of the river. And they said he was last seen by the shore when they went fishing. I took a number and headed to the park. I mean, I'm not doing anything at all, it's just quick money. I was wrong. For about 3 hours I searched up and down the sandy pebbles off the shore, and I was about to give up when I heard yipping. I searched for the source of the sound and came across a drainage pipe about the size of a short bus. Again, I heard yipping. Except this time, it was different. Like it was a scared yipping. Like something that meant someone was in your back door. It was echoing down the huge pipe, and I sighed as I ventured inside the tunnel. I wish I didn't. As I stood at a distance from the fork in the pipes, came across a man in ragged clothes, tattered skin, and bloodshot eyes.
"What are you doing here?"
He said.
"Exit's that way."
"I'm looking for a dog." He woke with a sudden jolt as if he'd seen it.
"Leave now, or you'll never return.
What?
If you don't want to die down here, leave now."
What do you mean?
"I was looking for the same damn dog."
Did you find it?
"Hell yeah, I found it. Cost me my life."
What?
"Kid, just get the hell out of here while you still can. What's your name?"
Marcus. What's yours?
"The same."
He stood up, walked quickly towards me, and shoved me, with enough force that I fell on the cement.
"Get out of here. Go, before it's too late."
I stood up, angrily and pushed him aside, moving toward the yipping like a tornado, kicking anything that got in my way. Bags, rats, cans, anything that pissed me off. Eventually, I found a room with candles, food, bags, and papers splattered everywhere. And I found the source of the yipping. She was an ugly little bastard, with dirty fur and matted splotches of God knows what everywhere, shades of brown and green in places they shouldn't be. It was a mess. Here you go, Simon.
My name isn't Simon.
Yeah, sure it isn't. It's Pinello. I threw it and jumped back. What the hell? Did it just talk?
Well, that isn't very nice, Marcus.
How the hell do you know my name?
You've been down here a very long time. I'm pretty sure we got acquainted.
I've only been here for about 30 minutes.
Oh, I see. Well then, I'm going to give you a choice, alright?
Sure, I guess.
Kill the man.
What?
Kill him, or you will never go back to your friends, your family, or your normal life.
I'm not killing him.
So be it.
He vanished. Along with him, so did everything else. I returned to the man and he shook his head.
What did he say?
He gave me a choice. We sat there in silence. For 3 months we talked about our lives, but somehow I thought he was lying. There was something off about him, an aura that seemed too familiar to ignore. That wasn't the end of it. He came from a small town, much like our own, and lived a pretty carefree life. He didn't tell me how he got down here or when, but I was guessing it was pretty soon. So, how long you've been down here? He looked around, avoiding the question, and finally he answered.
39 years I've been here, and 39 years I chose not to kill the man before me.
That was it. I've had enough of these lies. I understood now. This was all a joke. I was down here waiting for someone to save me for 3 damn months. He was playing me. I missed out on my sister's wedding. I missed out on my best friend's 17th birthday. I missed out on everything because some elaborate joke. He didn't even hear the knife cut into his throat. He felt it though. I used unnatural movements and sliced into his neck, reaching the bone and cutting into his bone marrow. It took my time to cut him open and spill his insides out when I suddenly heard footsteps. I whipped around, knife in hand, and see my best friend standing before me in awe. I turned around to assess what I had done, but the body was gone. The dog lay before me, snoring, and somehow, instead of a knife in my hand, I see a leash. Jack? What day is it? May 4th? Why? Nothing.
Thank you so much, Chronopasta. Amazing delivery as always. Now I'd like to take a second and share with you this promo that Chronopasta sent our way. It's an excerpt from his video, The House That Jack Built, Episode 1, featuring As the Raven Dreams, you all know that guy, and our vivacious voiceover virtuoso. After you've soaked in this audio, be sure to head on over to Chronopasta's channel and subscribe.
That's our secret code, so he knows it's us.
Hey guys, hurry up and get in, but be quiet. My parents haven't gotten up yet.
We hurry into the basement. Sam seems to be in bad shape. Did you get any sleep last night, man?
Not much. I can't sleep when there's body snatchers out there.
That's what we came here about. We saw something in the park last night on the way home.
Yeah, we wanted to see if you wanted to come investigate that area with us.
That means you guys believe me?
Sure, Sammy. Sure.
Now I'd like to take a moment to tell you about the author of The Man in the Tunnel, robinlegai. Robin hasn't posted much on Reddit in recent years, but they've got a nice little treasure trove of stories that you can indulge in, including the one that you just heard here on the channel. Now next up on the menu for tonight, we have My Family Has a Suit Made from Human Skin, written by Lady Spookaria and narrated by the HeroAskew.
My family has always had an interest in history. We have our family coat of arms on the wall, genealogy records. We boast about a connection to a particular famed ancestor, or another. We own a variety of other historical items, weapons, antiquities, and that sort of thing. What isn't publicly known is that we have a suit made from human skin. Human leather has been used throughout history to create books and not just creepy murderers making lampshades. It is kept deep in the basement, behind a hidden wall for extra security, and proudly hung up. It scared me when I was a child. I came down looking for my mom when I saw her oiling up the skin to keep it supple. I screamed, ran to my room, and hid under the bed for an hour before my mom came in to speak with me. So why do we have this sort of item in our possession? A lot of mothers will turn to Karens to demonstrate their frustration at whatever is annoying them, or they run straight to Facebook. I'll just tell you. My mother was at the local grocery store during the weekly shopping trip. The trolley was piled high with items and all she needed was the perfect pack of lychees. My mother was a foodie and only ever wanted the best. There was a single pack left. Her hand reached out to grab it and another woman did so at the same time. It was like a slow-motion movie, and unfortunately my mother was too slow. She missed it, and the other woman gave her a smug look and a condescending apology. I gulped as I stood by the trolley. This wasn't the first time I had seen it. When we got home, my mother began to rage. She threw the rest of the ingredients onto the floor, knocked over plates, and told everyone that she wasn't cooking dinner. As you can probably guess, she had a range of anger issues, and my dad always turned a blind eye to it. She stormed downwards into the basement and took out the human skin. My normally ordered and dignified mother turned into a maniac. She ripped off her clothing, and while mumbling under her breath, she slid into the multicolored human skin. There was a twisted look in her eyes as her hand ran over the skin. There were still small hairs and freckles sticking out of it. The innate pleasure of knowing what was going to come. She lit the candles in front of the twisted altar on the table. The stone tab forever tainted with blood. Her hands outstretched upwards towards the grim idol. A beast of fangs and claws. It stared down at her, and I always felt like I was being washed when I was down there. My mother began to moan, muttering under her breath as her body rocked and swayed. I watched from the doorway, hidden, and stared in disgust at her. Suddenly, all the movement ceased. She froze in place, jerked backwards as though she had been struck by some unseen force, and slowly turned her head to look at me. There were tears down her cheeks, and a bitter look of resentment in them. One, even though all the rages and fits I had seen her in. I had never witnessed it before. With a single finger she gestured for me to approach, and I hid behind the door. It was useless. "Come on, do not keep him waiting for you," she commanded sharply. Me? I questioned. The idol had never expressed any interest in me before, and I was grateful for that. My mother exhaled sharply, irritated, and aggressively gestured for me to approach. "Yes, you," she spat bitterly. I crept towards her, but my eyes remained on the idol. The eyes were completely black, dead. They reminded me of a shark's eyes, and I stepped away from her. I saw a knife in her hand. The blade looked like it had never been cleaned. A jagged and nearly blunt knife that should have been discarded long ago. Her hand reached up to me. "Give me your hand," she demanded. I held my hands together and shook my head to decline. My mother reached up and grabbed it while uttering under her breath, "It should have been me doing this. Why did he choose you? Why does he favor you when I have given him everything?" The mutters continued and no longer made any sense. "Who wants me? What's happening?" She didn't answer me. One hand lifted the knife up and ready. The palm of my hand tingled as I knew what would come, and instinctively began to pull my hand away from her. "This is the greatest gift in the world, and you dare to reject it," she hissed, and spat up at me. The goopy liquid clung into my hair and cheek. I could feel it dribbling downwards. It was as though time stood still. Even through all my mother's rages, demands, and quirks, I wanted to be the best possible son, and make sure she would be safe. I wanted to make her happy. But this was the last straw. I brought my hand back and slapped her hard across the face. She fell to the floor, her hand on her cheek as she gazed up at me in horror that I fought back and yanked the knife out of her hand. Under the idol's watchful eye, I took the knife and drove it into her neck, then in her chest, her shoulder where she tried to fight me off, and the injuries were beginning to take their toll. I was coated in her hot, sticky blood, and I felt a sense of euphoria, completely unlike anything I had ever felt before. I kept stabbing, blindly and wildly, with a madman's grin. Finally, she fell to the floor. Her body twitched and continued to bleed out as I stared down at the deed I had committed. I murdered my mother. I blinked, until I heard the words in my ears.
Well done. I knew that you had it in you.
The voice came from inside my head, raspy and beast-like. I knew it came from the idol, and I felt compelled to obey. I looked at the bloody knife and then down at the corpse of my mother. I knew what I was supposed to do without being told. It did not take long until I finished my work, and we had 2 suits of human skin.
Great job, Hero! Those sound effects were on point, as always. If you'd like to learn a bit more about Hero and what you can expect from his channel, well, stick around, because we're about to jump right into his promo. Take it away, Hero!
Hey everyone, the HeroAskew here. I hope you're enjoying this Halloween collab, hosted and brought to you by my good friend, Spookyou. I wanted to take this time to thank and give a shout out to Lady Spookaria for having written the story. My family has a suit made from human skin. I had loads of fun narrating it and bringing the story to life. If you enjoyed her story, please check her out and subscribe to her YouTube channel, where she also narrates and features more of her original work. Also, if you're liking this video thus far, please smash that like button and subscribe to Spookyou, as well as any of the other narrators you hear in this collab. If you liked what you heard from me, feel free to check out my channel, link in the descriptions below. I not only narrate stories, but I endeavor to bring them to life not just with attention and care to audio, but with visuals as well. Fair warning though, my content may include jump scares, and it's not for the faint of heart, nor is it for children. Due to the fact that my style of content involves time-consuming editing, I unfortunately do not have a set upload schedule. Nevertheless, I promise to deliver high-quality content with each upload I make. In the meantime, I will continue to participate in more collabs, and you can follow me on Twitter for all upcoming related announcements. If you're also a fan of foodie pics, you can follow me on Instagram as well. Please have a safe and happy Halloween, everybody, and thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Crikey! There aren't enough nuggies in the world to stop these emus from overrunning the channel. Looks like it's every dingo for themselves. To the muckers! Sorry about that. I couldn't help myself. Good day, everyone. I'd like to take a second to tell you about the author of this story, Lady Spookaria. Sitting at 1.3 thousand subs as of this recording, I believe that should speak for itself. Not only are her narrations amazing, she's freaking Australian. What's not to like? And if that's not enough of a selling point for you, consider this. You could expect live streams, the Harper Codex, weekly uploads, and nuggies. Lots and lots of nuggies. And danger. I mean, she's Australian after all. Everything wants to kill you down under. Thank you, lady, for lending your story to this collaboration, and, spoiler alert, she may have lent her voice, too. Our final story tonight is Classmate, written by ammarbadhrul and narrated by our vivacious voiceover virtuoso. Jack started as a joke among us. When our dear classmate Reynold, Ray for short, moved out of town at the start of high school, we pretended Ray had been replaced by a new student called Jack. We kept Ray's desk empty and pretended it was Jack's. Since then, Jack has been constant entertainment for us in all kinds of situations. When someone accidentally fell off his chair, we would jokingly blame it on Jack for pulling the chair, and we'd all laugh about it. When someone cracked out a bad joke and nobody laughed, we would joke and say, "Hey, at least Jack laughed." The joke went on and escalated up to a point where we all agreed to draw portraits of Jack in art class. For a good 10 minutes, we sat and drew Jack's portrait from our imagination, all the while pretending we can actually see Jack sitting at his desk, laughing and scolding him for not sitting still. Until Hayden suddenly shot up and shouted, "Finished!" We all came around to take a look at his finished portrait of Jack. From what we saw, Hayden is obviously an untalented artist. His portrait of Jack was as simple as a portrait can be. 2 black dots for eyes, a triangular nose, and a stupidly wide grin across the rugby-shaped face. According to Hayden's interpretation, Jack had no eyebrows, no ears, and little to no hair. In short, it looks like a badly drawn cartoon character by a 7-year-old. Hey man, that's awesome. It looks exactly like Jack. Robert was the first to jokingly compliment Hayden's drawing. We all then joined in the jest and praised Hayden for his accurate portrait. Since then, it's decided how Jack looks, and we hung the portrait proudly at the back of the classroom. Until one morning, we all came into class together and saw a curious figure sitting at Jack's seat. It was an especially dark morning, and it wasn't raining, but it was too cloudy for us to see the figure clearly. Upon flicking on the lights, we all fell silent. The figure sitting in Jack's seat was none other than Jack. His face the exact copy of Hayden's drawing. We didn't move an inch until the teacher came and scolded us, and then we all shuffled to our seats, trembling. Jack pulled Hayden's chair and he fell to the floor. Jack laughed and laughed with a voice so throaty and horrendous, it immediately made our faces crumple in fear. Some were even in tears, but the teacher didn't seem to take notice. It struck us that only those who played along with the joke can see and hear him. That day, we learned to never pretend that someone is real when they're not. But it's too late. Jack is now real, and he never left his seat. He was there when classes ended, and he was there to greet us in the morning. He's our classmate now. Before we sign off for the night, let me tell you a bit about Ammar. He mentioned to me upon reaching out to me that this is the first proper story that he's written. I thoroughly enjoyed it and look forward to seeing more from him. To keep up with Ammar and his future works, be sure to follow him on Reddit by following the link in the description. Thank you, Ammar, both for the story and for subscribing to the channel. And that's going to wrap things up for us tonight, my darling deviants. Thank you so much to the narrators and authors that lent their talents to this video, and be sure you devour the links in the description to check out each and every one of them. This wouldn't be possible without all of their hard work. Now tomorrow we'll be back again at the same time with more narrators and authors to satiate that horrific appetite of yours. Smash that thumbs up, annihilate that subscribe button, and ring that little bell while you're at it. Until next time, my ghastly gang, stay spooky.